Finally, welcome to Reviews Without Remorse. I am Joe. Next to me is my good buddy Dave. What's happening, buddy?
Not much, my man. Hello, folks. Sorry that you have to see my face now.
Welcome to the long-awaited review of Spider-Man Homecoming. Dave and I have been waiting to do this for a long time. Who wants to go first? Spider-Man Homecoming. What do you got? What do you got for me?
You know what? I feel like you should go first since technically you saw it before me on Saturday.
Going into this movie, I was prepared for the idea that they weren't going to do the origin story, and I had a feeling that I'd walk out and say, well, I'm sorry they didn't do the origin story, but at least they had the luxury of doing, a self-contained story without having to do the origin again. I was really pleasantly surprised just how true that was. I would have liked an origin story. I hope someday maybe they kind of revisit it somehow, but they had so much time to do something else, and it was so nice to have a refreshing story. I like that Spider-Man was not saving the world. This was not earth-shattering stakes. He, like I said, Spider-Man in the comics never really, he didn't save the world. He just kind of went against bank robbers and things like that for the most part. So I liked where the stakes were. No laser beam shooting to the sky. I was worried about Tony Stark. I was worried about Tony Stark was going to run roughshod over this movie. All the marketing said that this was going to be an Iron Man, Spider-Man team-up. It wasn't. Just enough Iron Man. I thought Spider-Man, this was his show. So I was happy with that. Michael Keaton. Holy cow, was Michael Keaton good.
He's Michael Keaton.
Love Brokers!
I expect no less from Michael Keaton, but geez, I really was not... I kind of forgot how good he was. Not forgot, but just lately, every time I see him, I'm impressed with him. I've seen other things with him recently that were just stellar. So yeah, props to him. Another unsung hero in this film, Jon Favreau. Every time this guy is on screen, I'm cracking up.
You're so money and you don't even know it.
That's what I keep trying to tell you. So
it was very nice to see
him.
Happy.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, even just that shot in the trailer. I remember the shot... Peter Parker's doing his video thing, and he flips over, and Happy walks in. He's like, "We got thin walls here," and I'm like, it was like that, but more. And I was like, "Oh my God, it was great." He was awesome. I thought I think this is probably the best Spider-Man movie I've seen in a long time. Probably the best Spider-Man movie I've ever seen. Not to throw Sam Raimi under the bus by any stretch. I mean, he had a different job to do. This one has the luxury of taking its time, doing things that, spreading its wings, pun intended.
Oh.
Again, it didn't have to stick to the origin story. It didn't have to end up at the Daily Bugle. It didn't have to do all the check marks, and you could tell. And the story was allowed to flourish and thrive on its own, and I think it was absolutely perfect. I love the little comic touches when Peter Parker leaves little notes here and there, and it almost it's like it made perfect sense in here. Like I remember in the comics, it was always your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yep.
Here he's leaving notes for people for things, and I'm like, it works so well. Mm-hmm. And incidentally, I loved all the references to the Marvel universe. I thought everything was great. Not too much.
There are a lot of references to the Marvel Universe.
A ton of references.
Yeah.
I mean, they made it very clear that this was in the shadow of the Avengers and the things going on in the world of the Avengers. Again, I love Tony Stark in it. I love Captain America, and I won't say too much about that, but man, his scenes were hysterical. Just the little bits that he's there. And that's all I got for you. We'll talk about spoilers in our next video, so I won't go too crazy with that. But all in all, this was a tremendous film. I would give this a 9, and I think the only reason I'm not going to give it a 10 is because I think it's even going to get better, frankly. They laid the groundwork here. There were some liberties taken with some of the comics, I thought, but I will let you talk about that. But like I said, I think this is a solid 9.
We're going to have to save that for the spoiler review, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Solid 9. I think this was a tremendous film, a tremendous accomplishment. Thank you for getting Sony out of the way to give us a good Spider-Man film, because that's what we got. Thank you, Marvel. That's all I got.
Well, I'm going to have
Take
to
it.
completely agree with you. I also gave it a 9 out of 10. Unlike you, I was glad that they were doing away with the origin story. I kind of felt like between Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man, it had been done to death. If you kept doing it,
Agreed.
it became more of a distraction than part of the story.
Agreed.
And I think that
Agreed.
focusing on Peter in high school was a great extra touch, because this is a story of a young man with powers that he's not even fully comprehending just yet. He's doing great with them. He's doing amazing things, pun not intended, but he's still not, he still hasn't come to grips with them. Tom Holland is an amazing choice for Spider-Man. He looks the age, he looks the part, he has the shy awkwardness, he's got the smart mouthness. All the things that I've been begging for in a Spider-Man movie is finally there. Michael Keaton was the perfect choice for Vulture. Michael Keaton 10 years ago, maybe not so much, but Michael Keaton now, perfect. I love the little nods into the comic. Like the first time he takes off his mask, his helmet looks exactly like the way the Vulture's helmet looked in the original comics. I love the shocker. I loved all the little touches. I even thought that the romance between Peter and Liz was very, very well done. I thought it was not understated at all. I thought it was perfect. I thought you couldn't ask for better. I truly enamored by this movie. I'm so happy that Marvel is finally doing the right thing with Spider-Man, and that Sony, by proxy, is also doing the right thing with Spider-Man. Great, great flick. And please, stay through the credits. Patience has its rewards.
All right, my friend. I think that is our review of Spider-Man Homecoming, but we will definitely be back with a spoiler review, because again, we don't want to give too much away this time. So let's cut it off here. We'll come back, we'll talk spoilers. What do you say?
Excellent. Good night, folks. Nice meeting you.
Thanks for watching our very first video review. If you like what you just heard and want to hear more, please check out our podcast, Reviews Without Remorse, for hour-long discussions of this and other popular films. If you really, really like what you heard, please consider becoming a patron. You can check out our page at patreon.com. All the clips in this video are used for commentary and critique and are considered fair use. No copyright infringement is intended.